to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swink.
Here.
Schaefer.
Here.
Abens.
Here.
Winkle.
Here.
Awig.
Here.
DeVries.
Here.
Jacobs.
Here.
Mr. Mayor. Here. Law Director.
Here.
Engineer.
Here.
And Clerk of Council here.
Under the approval of minutes tonight, we have before us the City Council public hearing meeting minutes dated March 18th, 2024. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, those minutes stand approved. And then, of course, we have also the regular City Council meeting minutes, also dated March 18th, 2024. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Right, hearing none, those minutes stand approved as well. Council has also received the Planning Commission meeting minutes dated March 12th, 2024, as well as the Civil Service Commission meeting minutes dated March 25th, 2024. In a moment, I will open our lobby session. For those of you who are here in attendance this evening, in the interest of time, the lobby session is not intended to be a question and answer interactive session, but it is an opportunity for the public to address both City Council as well as the City Administration regarding the general affairs of the City of North Ridgeville or the business of City Council. Anybody who wishes to speak this evening, we do ask that you speak from the podium, and we ask that you begin by stating your name and address for the record, at which time you will be allowed up to 3 minutes to speak. I do have a few written submissions, which I will take in the order in which they were received. So up first, Mr. Craig. Again, if you could state your name and address, and 3 minutes will begin.
Albert Craig, 37903 Sugar Ridge Road. I've seen articles brought to our attention this morning that there's a grant going out to improve Sugar Ridge Road. But it comes with specifications, it looks like, to build it up to be a truck route. We're having little concerns about that. I really don't need any, I don't know what the future plans are for sure, but they want to put in sidewalks and, do all kinds of other stuff to this road. And I don't know, the past couple of years, everybody's seen, we got a lot of truck problems, trucks going through our neighborhood, speeding and carrying on. And, we just don't want our road turned into a truck route and have even more trucks even come through our roads. I mean, we got some of these houses are 25, 30 feet away from the road. They don't need 200 trucks a day going past their front door. I mean, I don't know what, I don't know if that's the intention for this improvement on the road, but we're hoping it's not. But hope you study the grant carefully and make sure it don't have that turn our road into that. So if we don't need it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. Next, I have a submission from Alan, is it Silak? Silak? Mr. Silak, please state your name and address, and your 3 minutes will begin.
My name's Alan Silak. I live at 38068 Sugar Ridge. The concern I have is, like Mr. Craig stated about the trucks. Dayton Freight, that's going to be a 140 bay terminal there. With that and all of Beckett's employees, when are they going to make Mr. Beckett keep his word about connecting Taylor Street to eliminate all his employees speeding down Sugar Ridge, throwing rubbish in our yards, and so forth? I mean, it's bad enough as it is now. We don't need more semis. I guess that's really all I got to say.
Okay, Mr. Silak, thank you for being here, for sharing your thoughts. Mr. Baker?
Bradley Baker, 37801 Sugar Ridge Road, North Ridgeville here. After conversation with the mayor, I thank him for his comments, sharing with us his views of how the true multimodal corridor completion will work. I share with my colleagues and neighbors the concern that Sugar Ridge has a history of being a truck route and not being a truck route, and being a truck route and not being a truck route. And it seems recently we've not been a truck route for several years, and it's been good. I am concerned that the pressure from Dayton will come, Dayton Freight will come, saying it's a long way to go east, to go to 57 and come out. I'm concerned that city council a different city council maybe, but a city council might change their minds about this ordinance, which, according to the mayor, prohibits truck traffic going down Sugar Ridge, notwithstanding having federal involvement in this project. I trust that will remain and be a firm foundation that this council and the administration will adhere to, because I'd have little interest in having our, quote, two-lane country road turned into a multi-corridor. The best corridor example I could find on the web today was the Opportunity Corridor in Cleveland. That's truly a corridor. And I think I would like to keep the residential flavor of the neighborhood that lives along Sugar Ridge. And I'm not really interested in losing property to bike paths or sidewalks, actually. But specifically, I'm concerned about turning this into a corridor that moves traffic, I guess, efficiently at the risk and at the cost of the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. And then I also have a submission from Kim Sturmolk.
Kim Sturmel, 37872 Sugar Ridge Road. We lived in Sugar Ridge for 38 years, going on 39. We bought it. It's a residential road. I don't know how. I guess I do know how, because the way the government's going, they think they own the property that we worked a lifetime to purchase, pay off, raise a family. And then this morning, I'm blindsided to find this article about the corridor. Don't you owe us some information ahead of time? I mean, how are we supposed to know what's going on in our city? The city has changed so much. I mean, we can't, our fireworks are at Liberty Park, now you gotta pay for them. We used to go up there every year with our families and grandkids. You take that away from us. Now you're taking my home, the value of our houses. If you widen the road, we lose property. Where do I go for answers? Can someone answer that tonight? Who do I call?
I have your information here, your phone number here. We can try to get you some more information.
But all these people want the information, and these are just the ones that could make it tonight. We have a whole lot more that want to know what's going on in our neighborhood. So I think we all would like to know who we can contact. You know.
I understand.
Nobody can tell me who to call?
Maybe afterwards, a great council person will reach out to you.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
If they can't respond to you, but maybe afterwards, a great council person will reach out to you.
Well, I hope everybody's reached out to, okay? It'll save us writing a newspaper article or the TV station. We gotta have answers. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are the written submissions that I have this evening. Is there anybody else in attendance who would like to address council this evening? If you could please start
Yes.
by stating your name and
Yes.
address for the
Pam.
record, please.
Matalone, 38390 Sugar Ridge Road. I live at the corner of Bender and Sugar. And I hadn't intended to speak, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of a flavor for where we live. There are several horse farms in that stretch that you're talking about, one of which is mine. And I have 2 horses, and I have kids that come and ride horses. And about a half a mile away, we have a cattle farm. And so as we read this, it seems like in my view, there's an intention to remove or eliminate the country aspect of North Ridgeville. And I guess my comment would be, I think there's room for all of us. I think there's room for those of us who love to live in the country and want to keep it that way. And I think if we wanted a multimodal corridor, we would have moved somewhere like that. And so I've lived there for 20 years, and I hope you would consider helping us keep our neighborhood the way it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who wishes to address council? Okay, seeing none, the lobby session is now closed. We will move to administrative reports. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. There's a couple of items that we'll ask the emergency clause for, the NOPEC grant and the purchase of roadway materials and rental of equipment for road repair and maintenance when they come up. I'll be sure to dispense with any readings and ask for the emergency clause on those. There is an active transportation plan survey that's been available on our city's website, and it is available until April 15th. If you'd like to go on there and comment about that transportation plan, we would appreciate it. There's been at least over 400 plus people that have responded so far online. And we did have a public meeting on that a couple of, what was that, last Tuesday, I think it was. You know, it's going to be a connective plan for future trail and sidewalk connections throughout the city, and it's in conjunction with NOACA and some other agencies as well. Next Monday, it's time for a solar eclipse. And what we're doing here in North Ridgeville, you know, all of our schools that are located in the city will be closed that day. The city parks will be closed through vehicular traffic beginning Friday, April 5th until Tuesday, April 9th. You can enjoy our parks, but you just won't be able to park there, and that's a safety measure to keep our parks safe and clean during that weekend. And then Ranger Way will be closed on Monday, April 8th to vehicular traffic. Kensington Drive will be maintained, though, access to that road. And then depending on the number of people that may or may not show up, we may have to make some alterations of that, including some traffic that may be rerouted. Right now, the forecast, when I checked it a few hours ago, was sunny and 59. So there's a good chance that there'll be people coming to town. But as we know, it might be snowing that day too. So maybe nobody comes. We will be maintaining all regular city services that day, and we will do our best to keep everybody as safe as possible. On Wednesday, April 10th in the morning at 8:30 a.m., it's time for another coffee and conversation. It'll be taking place right here in council chambers. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. City Engineer?
Mr. President, I'm going to have to decline for today. Caught myself a little cold.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, you're excused. Let's see. Council is in receipt of the January 2024 Fire Department report and the February 2024 Parks and Recreation Division report. There are no council committee reports to review this evening, nor do we have any correspondence or old business. The next item up on the agenda is new business, and we received a stock liquor request. Clerk, if you could please read that request.
A request from the Graced by Nashville LLC DBA Smoking Marys for a stock liquor permit request at 34173 Center Ridge.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Winkle?
I'd like to move to not request a hearing so this permit can be sent to the state for its final disposition to the state by April 15th.
Second?
The motion was made by Winkle and seconded by Awig to not request a hearing so that this request may be sent to the state for final disposition by the deadline. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. And all opposed say no. The motion carries. Up next is recess.
Mr. President, I move to dispense with recess.
Second?
It was moved by Winkle and seconded by Swank to dispense with recess. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Recess has been dispensed this evening. We'll move along to first readings. Up first is 2024-43.
An ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to accept the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council NOPEC 2024 Energized Community Grants.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Move to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-43. Are there any comments or questions?
Mr. President,
Mr. Mayor.
NOPEC gives us, or we apply for the Energized Community Grant each and every year, and we've been fortunate to get that grant. So this year, as always, we're always looking to put it towards a lot of engineering projects, and I believe that's where we're going to be spending the money on this as well. So we have a couple of those engineering projects coming up soon, and so I will ask for the emergency clause so that way we can receive this money and put it to good use for the community.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are there any additional comments or questions? So again, it was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-43. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause so that way we may apply these funds in an expeditious manner.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to add the emergency clause to 2024-43 for the reasons stated by the mayor. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to adopt 2024-43 with the emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries and 2024-43 is adopted.
2024-44.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into contracts according to law and in a manner prescribed by law with the lowest and best bidders for the Avon Belden Road, State Route 83, and Chestnut Ridge Road Roundabout, also known as Lorraine-83-11.19 ODOT PIN number or PID 114797 for construction, inspection services, and associated work in an amount not to exceed $440,000.
Twenty 2024-45.
2024-45, an ordinance prohibiting adult use cannabis processing, cultivation, retail dispensaries, or other North Ridgeville business intending to process, provide, or sell cannabis as defined in sections 3780.01 through 3780.99 of the Ohio Revised Code.
2024-45 will be referred to the Committee of the Whole for further review and discussion. Twenty 2024-46.
A resolution to approve the application made by Maxwell Kirkenreader and Mayor Rader to have certain land owned by them designated as being located within an agricultural district.
All right, under second readings tonight, we have 2024-26.
An ordinance providing for the amendment of Chapter 1444 Building Permits and Fees of the North Ridgeville Building and Housing Code and the establishment of a new Chapter 1010 Engineering Permits and Fees in the Streets, Utilities, and Public Services Code.
2024-33.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of North Ridgeville, Ohio to advertise for bids and negotiate a contract for a 12-month period according to law and a manner prescribed by law for the purchase of roadway materials to be used by the city of North Ridgeville, Ohio.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the third reading.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Awig to dispense with the third reading for 2024-33. Are there comments or questions?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
the asphalt plants open up this month, and we'd like to get moving on our roadway repairs. That would include getting some of these materials that are in this ordinance, and it would also pertain to the next ordinance as well with the rental of equipment that we use in those road repairs. So I'll ask for the emergency clause.
Second.
And these are repairs that, of course, we do every year and have already been appropriated.
Correct.
Yep. So again, it was moved by the mayor and seconded by Awig to dispense with a third reading for 2024-33. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause for the reasons stated previously.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to 2024-33 for the reasons stated earlier by the mayor. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Awig to adopt 2024-33 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer. Yes. Abens.
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0, and 2024-33 is adopted.
2024-34.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of North Ridgeville to advertise for bids and negotiate a contract according to law in a manner prescribed by law for the rental of equipment and related services for road repair and maintenance to be used by the service department.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the third reading.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Awig to dispense with a third reading for 2024-34. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause for the reasons stated in ordinance number 2024-33.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to 2024-34 for the reasons stated earlier in the meeting by the mayor. On the emergency clause, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Awig to adopt 2024-34 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0, and 2024-34 is adopted.
2024-35.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into a contract according by law in a manner prescribed by law with the lowest and best bidder for the 2024 traffic paint striping and other appurtenances not to exceed $180,000.
2024-36.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into a contract according to law and in a manner prescribed by law with the lowest and best bidder for the 2024 catch basin rehabilitation project and other appurtenances not to exceed $150,000.
2024-37.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into a contract according to law and in a manner prescribed by law with the lowest and best bidder for the 2024 crack seal project and other appurtenances not to exceed $150,000.
2024-38.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into a contract according to law and in a manner prescribed by law with the lowest and best bidder for the 2024 full-depth concrete pavement replacement project and other appurtenances not to exceed $900,000.
2024-39.
A resolution adopting the Ridgeville Ready 2024 master plan.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask a question?
Mr. Schaefer?
I'm in Ward 2, so I would be remiss if I didn't mention that this master plan really doesn't address a lot of our traffic problems. It discusses building some new stuff, which will cause even more traffic. And there's a picture on page 56 suggesting that we reduce the 4-lane highways to 2-lane highways with bike paths. I think this would cause a considerable amount of traffic congestion. And bike paths are only usable when it's not raining, snowing, blowing wind. So it seems like, can we kick this back to the drawing board and get more consideration about traffic planning?
Well, Mr. Schaefer, I think as a member of the Master Plan Steering Committee, I've watched the process unfold for the last 15 months or so. This process was the result of a group of residents and, community members and stakeholders that met over, I think 12 times, that were all public meetings. There was several rounds of opportunity for the public to provide input and suggestions regarding this plan. And so I feel that this is a comprehensive plan that kind of shows the values and aspirations of our community when it comes to future planning for the community. I don't know that kicking it back and starting it over after having hired a outside consultant to guide this process would be in order.
I'm not talking about starting over, I'm talking about modifying, because what I hear from my residents is all the progress that's being made now was done without any consideration for traffic planning. It seems like we're repeating that mistake by doing more development without even considering the traffic planning. And those who forget the past are condemned to repeat it. Is there any way we can just get more cowbell on the traffic part of it?
Are there any additional comments?
The short version is no. I could go into a longer explanation, but there's never been a suggestion that we would reduce the number of traffic lanes if there's traffic that would dictate having additional lanes. There's a picture in there that shows the future ideal of adding bicycle lanes to roadways, but it's not a requirement. And while it might not address all of the traffic and transportation issues that exist in the city, there are other means that we take to address those as well. So it is, it's not supposed to be a vehicular traffic plan. It's a component thereof, but not in the depth that Mr. Schaefer is asking for. We are currently investigating traffic at the intersections along Center Ridge at 83 Route and Ranger Way, and at the Bainbridge intersections at those same locations, Ranger Way, Route, and 83. That will address some traffic congestion in those areas. We have a future traffic study going on at the Lear-Nagel-Cook Lorraine intersection that stretches from North Olmsted border over to Victory Lane. We were addressing traffic congestion at different locations with a couple of the roundabouts that are in process now. There's other studies that are ongoing right now to address some of those traffic concerns that exist in the city. But that's essentially where we are with that process.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are there any additional comments?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Abens?
I'd also like to point out the fact that there are plans to put in bicycle paths that are not part of the road itself. And so that should alleviate some of those issues pertaining to bicycles in the roadways. And so I think, no, I don't agree with sending it back for reconsideration.
Thank you, Mr. Abens. Additional comments? Moving on to third readings, we have 2024-31.
An ordinance amending section 1228.02 of the North Ridgeville Codified Ordinances to eliminate truck terminals from the list of conditional uses in the B3 Highway Commercial District.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swank?
move to adopt.
Second?
It was moved by Swank and seconded by Abens to adopt 2024-31. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swank,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.